Hey guys, Kent here from the Mad About Movies podcast, and normally I don't do this. Normally I wait for the show to rant and rave, but I just got out of Transformers the last night, and wow. I want to talk about the biggest problem with the last night, and there are a lot of them. The racially insensitive characters, the token veteran actor who brings credibility to the movie. Is it possible that Michael Bay can just make the exact same movie 3 times, 4 times, 5 times at this point? Of course it's possible, because it's happened. But how is it that Michael Bay can make the same movie 3, 4, 5 times, but make it exponentially worse every single time? You would think that you would make one movie, and if that didn't do well, you would improve upon the next one, and then improve on the next one. Not the opposite. I mean, this movie was a complete abomination to look at. There's not one thing pleasing about the Transformers series anymore. And that's sad, because I really enjoyed the first movie. It had charm, it had wit, it had charisma, it had memorable characters. It had a sense of believability to it. It had an unbelievable sense to it. I remember that scene in the trailer where the Transformer comes out of the pool and that little girl is looking at it in wonder. And same as the audience, it had that Jurassic Park feeling of looking at something unbelievable. They all try to take some kind of historical event and bring the Transformers into the fold. For instance, X event in history is because of the Transformers. In the third one, it was the moon landing. In the fourth one, it was the extinction of the dinosaurs. And in this one, for some reason, it's King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Anyway, all that aside, it's not my biggest problem with this movie. The biggest problem with this movie is the aspect ratios. And if you don't notice things like aspect ratios, chances are you definitely did with The Last Night. And granted, I think that aspect ratios changing in a movie can help a movie. It can be an effective narrative tool. For example, Christopher Nolan uses it very effectively in the Dark Knight series. He shot the iconic Dark Knight bank robbery sequence in IMAX. And then some of the more intimate dialogue scenes between Batman and the Joker in a smaller, wider aspect ratio. It gives a sense of intimacy. There are several different choices in aspect ratio when making a film. The 1:7:8, 1:8:5, a 2:3:5, and a 2:55, which is on more of the extreme spectrum of widescreen. Michael Bay just couldn't make up his mind with this movie. And I say couldn't make up his mind because normally a director will shoot a sequence in one aspect ratio, and then if he wants to change aspect ratios, he'll then wait until the next sequence to do so. Not Michael Bay. It's no exaggeration when I say that this movie changes aspect ratios over 500 times. Every single cut of most sequences changes aspect ratios, and I don't know why. I'm dumbfounded as to why. It defies all logic. It defies directorial convention to do that. Which leads to the question, are we just being trolled at this point? Are they just making these movies to troll us? The Paramount is sitting in their boardroom on a Monday saying, wow, we made $80 million when we were actually trying to troll the audience. This is the most confusing directorial job I've ever seen. Even in a dialogue scene, even in something as simple as a reverse shot of 2 people talking together. One angle will be in one aspect ratio, and the reverse shot will be in a completely different aspect ratio. It makes me think, was there some mistake at the studio? Was there something that happened where the entire movie was shot in one aspect ratio and then went back for reshoots, or the B unit shot in a completely different aspect ratio and it was impossible for them to fix it in post? Why couldn't they just stretch the 235 aspect ratio to a 1:7:8? Why can't you just do that? If you're shooting in 4K, it shouldn't have been an issue. I am just dumbfounded that this could possibly happen on such a large scale. Not to mention that this movie, this franchise is just a waste of money. I feel so bad for the animators who are meticulously animating every single aspect of the Transformers. Just imagine pulling all-nighters at a digital house animating something that you know sucks. There are a lot of issues with The Last Night, but the aspect ratio is just incredible. I don't know how Michael Bay can even call himself a director at this point, honestly. If you want my full thoughts on The Last Night, check out Mad About Movies on iTunes, madaboutmoviespodcast.com, at Mad About Movies on Twitter. We review movies every single week, and I promise I'm usually not this angry. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.